Hello everybody, we are in Gene Key 41, the new year, the initiator, the originator, and I wanted to go into the unit section and do some chart interpretations. And the new way of doing it this year is to really focus on the activation sequence and see how that is influencing the attraction sphere and the core wound or the vocation, so that we get it for all the profiles. So I already did a 4-6 profile, I think it was, and now I want to look at 3-6 today, and I want to go through all the 12 profiles and see what is the one-liner, what is we use to break through, to like open the challenge and come into the breakthrough. So I am going to share actually right away from the Living Matrix group, where you can go into the units and you can post your chart, like a comment in the unit that says post your chart. So here we have, which was it? I think it was this one that I wanted to look at, Guillermo. So I'm just going to open first the human design so we know a little bit how the energy moves. It's a projector. It's a 3-6. We have a lot of open centers. So a lot of risks, you could say, for not self themes. And we know that this person needs to be grounded, needs to follow intuition and instinct, very splenic being, and it has this channel of intuition and of behaving as you are in your naturalness. These are very strong themes. And the other very strong theme is 38-28, which is about fighting the right fights, fighting for a purpose. So this is where you want to focus. You want to be in your defined centers. You have a depth that is beautiful, and you have a discernment for what's worth, like giving water or nourishing to, and you'll have a need for integrity as well, and for finding other souls in the same fractal. So these are some of the themes. Yeah, the cross of tension. So we're going to go into the gene keys and look at the activation sequence to see what this cross of tension actually means. So let's see here. So we're going to do the same thing as we did last week. So here we have a 3-6 profile, and we're going to go through the activation sequence, and we're going to see what happens in the attractions and in the core wound or the vocation. So we have a 3-6. The third line is a changer, somebody who plays with energy and experience. And the 6th line is a role model. So it's here to be a visionary, but also to show the way. So when we look at it in the shadow frequency, it's going to be really the nightmare scenario. It's going to be that third line that doesn't dare, maybe, or that isn't able to be that changer, isn't able to be that dynamic. It's going to have a fear of being judged, of being shamed, of being told that it's failing. So what we say, so we don't have that, it's not written out in this old profile, but this is the pathway of challenge. And so it's going to be the challenges, or how to break the challenge is to break out of the need for attention or for approval and starting to do things without an agenda. However, let us see, before we go to that possibility, how this life would look like. So it's a third line that doesn't want to accept that it's not consistent. It's actually, dynamic, but in the low frequency, it's going to want to be more consistent. It's probably going to put itself in some kind of even regimented program of trying to be in a certain way to make other people happy, maybe. And having an open emotional, for example, can be also one of the reasons for that, and an open ego, to just promise things, for example, are not good for you. And there's going to be this feeling of, inadequacy, and even in relationships, a kind of, sometimes even a control, a game, how do you say, a game, like a game of control, who has the authority. And the third line that feels that, often probably just needs to cut because it doesn't feel right, and then you want to start on a white slate, but it's not so playful. It kind of more becomes, okay, this doesn't work, okay, I cut, and feeling like it's not really the right place, and then maybe those control games with other people. And on the soul side, again, there can be provocation, there can be the feeling of people not having the same vision as you have, feeling that, you know, we can't really go anywhere from here, not being able to find your core stability, having struggles and like giving a lot of energy, but not feeling as you are actually, it's actually leading to something meaningful. And then in your relationships, kind of the soil doesn't feel fertile to plant in. It actually feels quite cold and sterile. And you might decide, okay, let me just do my thing. So you might kind of close other people out and try to like figure out things your own way. But it's at the same time kind of lonely, you could say. It's like you don't feel the co-creation, the natural co-creation with others. And then it goes into your vocation, that in that sense is going to be your core wound. That is this feeling of purposelessness. There's also a feeling of being numb. The heart that says, okay, if I'm not adequate, if there are those games people are playing, if there's so much provocation and struggle, and I really don't feel like my relationship are fruitful, well, I don't even think there is a purpose. And then you are, the heart doesn't dare to be open. It's like, why would my heart be open if that the only thing I'm going to get from that is that everything is going to hurt? So it's the heart that numbs down. And then the 28, kind of a melancholic gate that feels like, what if the purpose? If this is going round and round and round and round, what is the purpose? So that is the worst case scenario. And like I was saying before, the one-liner that we use to, you know, to kind of open up this spell, this curse, is to say, you know, how can I break out of my need for approval or attention? And then the answer is, well, is for you to do things without an agenda. And it's, in this case, is to say, I'm not a consistent being. I don't like to do the same things every day. I'm not probably going to be able to show up on a schedule from 9 to 5. I'm a dynamic being, and I want to be myself. I want to play with energy and experience. And I am really resourceful. I have a very big toolbox that I want to use. And I'm going to change things around because that's how I love to live. And it is going to be a lot of different experiences in my life. And I would like you to be part of that play, because I'm here to play with energy and to be dynamic. And then suddenly, you know, you are going to be able to be with the people that are want to be in that play, in that experiences with you, and want to also use the tools that you have in your toolbox. So suddenly you're going to have these people around you that can nurture your vision. And you see even have the word of dynamism and liberation here. Suddenly when you allow yourself to be who you are, you're going to also attract that from everybody else. And it's going to be extremely nurturing for you. Instead of feeling like you fail or like you're different or you're not like other people, you're going to feel very nurtured. And that is when you're starting to find your core stability. This is the pathway of core stability. And then suddenly you still have energy and perseverance to go for things, to put all your energy into something. But with that, you're going to feel an honor. You're going to feel like it's worth the energy. And you're also going to feel like sometimes the intent is the most important, knowing why you're doing something. And then actually the struggle becomes much more light. And suddenly, with the right people, your relationships become really fertile. So just automatically, when whatever seed is planted, it feels like it's growing in a very natural way. And you can start to behave like yourself, like you really are, with ease, with naturalness, with flow. And that is when you're going to feel like you're also attract that in other people. People are going to be also, you know, have understood that self-love is so important, to be in ease, to be in flow. And then how that influences the core wound is that the core wound flips, and instead of being purposelessness and numbness, it flips in to become your vocation, where it's all about living with an open heart, which is doing exactly what you love doing, and feeling like every moment is worth living. It's not like, okay, I have this 1 to 5 job to have others approve of me, and then on my free time after 5 I can have fun. No, it's going to be the totality of having each moment being worth living. Because even if it's a scorpionic energy, the 28, so even if it's not all the time super easy, there is a purpose with it. the Scorpio knows that even the dark, deep waters that are not comfortable are part of a transformation process. So this is 28, this the risk taker and the game player, which of course go together with being this third line and having the 28, the 48, which is also about the depth. So being able to go deep and from that experience things and actually have a very rich life. A third line has a very, very rich life. And knowing that you're a sixth line soul, and the sixth line is third line, the 31st years of your life. So you are born in 52, so it's you are over that phase, but in the beginning of your life, you are 3-3, and that is what's special with a 3-6 profile. We only have 2.5% of the population that are 3-6s. And in the beginning of your life, you're 3-3, so it's so much about trial and error. There can be so much tension with this cross of tension as well, and feeling like so many things go wrong. But the beautiful thing is that also your vocation, what fuels your life work, is this game player, to play with a heart, to do what you love. And it doesn't matter if sometimes it's a little bit scorpionic, because you are here to be in the depth and be a game changer, changing things with dynamism and liberation. So, and this is of course something that we do this kind of journey through the profile for all the profiles. So that's and this is especially when you're a third line personality, you have this one liner, like I say, to break out of the need for approval or attention by living your life without an agenda. So that would also be for a 3-5, and it's for all the third line personalities. That is the kind of breakthrough, and yeah. We could also see the double theme here of being a projector, that also your pearl is about recognition. And you can only get that recognition truly from being spontaneous. So 23 is about you. This comes from the throat center, and it's about spontaneity. So you want to be you, and that is when things can happen for you. That is when the energy is going to move. So I hope that this was helpful, and I'm going to do all the profiles in this way. Thank you.